Alright, testing microphone. Alright, looks good. And I changed some settings, so this one I hope there's no issues, but it should be fine. If there's issues, deal with it. This is me again, Jason, your benevolent leader. I'm gonna do this replay analysis again for Half State Champs versus the Virginia Tech Hokies gaming, and this time I'm gonna look at top lane. That's that. Go ahead and get started. You started Doran's Blade. I hope that means you're really confident in this matchup. I'm not familiar with it enough to say anything about it. I'm gonna go ahead and speed up through this because I've already talked through a lot of it multiple times, so I don't want to look at it again. If you knew you were gonna go over here, going this way was pointless. You should have just gone directly here, and you should either walk on the edge of the bush or stand over here or just blatantly stand in the center, because they don't have a blitzcrank or anything. You don't really have to be afraid of getting caught, but that gives you more vision. Like, you don't have any information on this, and I think that's like a waste. This is fine. You take your Q level 1, that's fine. Okay. Against a Rumble, when you're gonna get pushed, but when it's possible, you should be trying to last hit and auto attack the creeps, because you don't want it to make it easy for him to push in the wave. You're just kind of conceding it for no reason. Because he's gonna outpush you, that's just like a fact, but I think there were some times in there while it was on cooldown that you could have gone in there and got some auto attacks off without really having to retaliate. And against a lane like this, I don't know that the Doran's Blade is the right choice, because you're gonna get pushed in really hard, and you have a teleport. And I'm not that familiar with Kled, but I don't know, maybe maybe you should have considered Cloth 5 or just another option. I don't know why you ran around the turret. If you had gotten up there, you could have started auto-attacking and prepping the creeps way sooner. Right. You missed far too many of these. I don't think you're comfortable enough with last hitting under the turret with Kled. Or maybe for some reason you ran over here and ran around the turret like you were afraid that that Rumble was gonna fight you. Rumble can't really harass you into the tower unless he's really close. Since he wasn't close, you don't really need to be that scared. You put a lot of damage on him right there. That's really good. I should be waiting for your W to come back up. Alright. You shouldn't be fighting him in this creep wave. Alright. You almost killed him, but I think if you had waited for the creep wave to settle and then gone in, you would have been better off. Alright, you saw him recall. And you want to immediately start pushing. Okay, yeah. Because he's going to teleport back in. Now you're going to back. Because you're too little to fight him. Just as soon, you knew he left, you should have started pushing to either force him to recall or to make him do CS. And he TP's back in the middle of the wave. So, maybe there's not a lot you could have done there, but yeah, if you had backed at the same time he did, you might not have missed out on these creeps, but you might have wanted to consider teleporting. Because as it is, you're already 10 CS behind, and that is a huge lead at 4 minutes. That's really just too big of a lead at 4 minutes. You're back in battle longsword. I think on Kled that's choice. You're not making any use of your trinket ward. And while you're really this push up, I guess you don't really need to. But just in general, you need to keep in mind that you have a trinket ward and you should use it when you have the opportunity to. Because Nidalee will, Nidalee's ganks, she doesn't really need to get that close. She can stand here, hit you with a spear, and then she only has to get... Oh god, I can't use the right side of the screen. My mouse doesn't lock. She only needs to get right here to jump all the way over here. And she's coming again because top lane's easy to gank. You're gonna come from behind this time because you're low. And she nails the spear, and then watch, she can jump so far away. You live, but you have the wards, you should use them. And then I assume you're gonna recall and teleport back in. Alright, at this point, Rumble is doubling your CS, like still at 6 minutes. It's unacceptable, like, you're missing too many creeps on the tower, you need to practice. And you know he's level 6. You shouldn't be fighting him. Like, you fought him not only in a creep wave, but also while he is level up on you and like has ulti. And in the end, Rumble has more sustain than you and like can fight longer. If you, like, to an extent, you can get your thingy back, whatever it's called, your mount, and get your health. But I think it was irresponsible for you to go fight him when he's a level, when he has his ultimate and you don't, and you're tanking a creep wave. Because while Kled is strong, like, plays like that are very risky. I don't think you should have done it. It's really hard for you to participate in this gank when you don't have your mount. It's like, what can you do? You can like run at him and knock yourself backwards. Like, you don't have your ultimate, even though you do have your ultimate, you're not mounted. Alright, you guys knew about this Syndra, played around it. You still don't have your mount. I think you're too willing to drop your mount. Because when you don't have your mount, it makes you easier to gank, it makes your ulti, like, unusable. And it makes, like, it's harder for you to participate in anything. Alright, that Q got you a group, also made you miss one. Alright, I don't know. Like, it seems like you were trying to push, but now you're just, like, slow pushing. If you're gonna keep using your abilities, then you should, like, if you're gonna push, then you need to, like, be able to auto-attack the whole time and, like, still get last hits. I assume you're gonna ulti here. Nope, you changed your mind. Because if you're gonna push to make him lose CS, you wanted to be there earlier. But then, like, you had a lot of downtime where you, in between auto-attacks, you were just, like, standing there. If you can keep auto-attacking and also getting the last hits, that's a really good skill. Like, that's something you can practice in the custom game. Wait, sorry, I got distracted. Because there was nothing going on. Top lane. The land of the boring. Alright, you're engaged here. I don't think you thought that through. Like, it ended up being close, but like, why'd you even do it? Like, you missed this creep, and you fought in his creep wave, so you're taking all this damage from these creeps, and he is taking none. And then, like, you don't have any summoners up. I just don't even know why you fought him. I guess to try to make up for the creep deficit, but I don't know, that's some solo queue shit. You're just, like, disrespecting his ability to play as champion. And you tank the creep wave. You're really disregarding the creep wave. With John, if John would come up here, you could absolutely kill him. But I don't know. It feels like you're rather than going for any like sort of poking him down and then going in again, you're just like all in or nothing. Keep this up. I think with your ultimate, maybe you should look like in how much trouble mid lane is having, you should have considered roaming to mid with your ulti. try to help there because Kled can roam really easily. You bought a refillable potion like this late after you already like if you're gonna get a refill potion, you should have probably bought it on your first back instead of that longsword. Because now it's gonna take you a long time to get the efficiency. You're still trying to man fight him when you're 2 levels down now and a kill behind. Like that just wasted your refillable potion and more. It's just a waste. I'm probably not gonna look at much more of this lane. You're still not using your trinket ward. Like, I haven't seen you place it once. You should have kept running. Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, I think that pretty much comes down to not having your trinket, but then you're also just like, now he's going to be completely doubling your CS again, which is unacceptable. This is just as bad as Austin's lane because of the amount of CS he is up on you. It's like 18 CS to kill. So I'm just gonna round that to 20, and he's essentially like 4 kills ahead of you. 5 kills because he actually has a kill. So this is actually like let's look at the gold. He is so far ahead of you. He has 4,100 gold, and you have 2,600 gold. That's insane how far ahead he is. That's really just unacceptable. You need to be farming better. Alright, you're trying to fight him again when you're still behind. I don't know Kled's power exactly, so I can't say for certain like when you shouldn't be fighting him. But like, it is definitely greedy when you're down that much gold and you're still trying to fight him, just like one-on-one like that without poking him at all. I just think you need to prioritize getting CS a little more. Because if you had the same CS that he did, then you would absolutely win these fights. Because they're close fights. And with those, you would absolutely be winning. It wouldn't even be a contest. You'd be just destroying him. Alright, I think you did that very well. You fought in the creep wave and like she couldn't use spears. That was good. Because you definitely weren't going to outrun in Italy, so that was the best thing you could have done there. Just, if this was an even lane in CS, you would have, let's see, you have this and this. You would have completed this item, and like this refill, you wouldn't have needed the refill pot, and you would just be, you'd be destroying him. You'd be shitting on this Rumble. Because I do think this is a favorable matchup for Kled, but it's like I think you're disrespecting the creep wave, and to an extent you're disrespecting him as a player. Which is fine, like in some situations, just like assume you're better than them. But then also don't like assume that they're an idiot. Yeah. Still farming. I think maybe instead of ulting right there, you should have like waited until he turned around so you got the move speed buff and you could keep chasing him harder. So like you ulted in this direction, maybe you should have ulted in that direction instead. That's just the thing. Also, I'm not really sure what the ultimate gives you anything, like it does damage. Increases, so the first thing is maximum health. Based on distance traveled, yeah. It does not very much when you're like right there on them, except giving you move speed. I don't really want to like slow down for all these parts because I've already seen them 900 fucking times. Alright, you go for farm instead of doing that, that's fine. You're behind in farm, so you need to catch up. Just use your trinket ward here. This was I don't know that you needed to flash there. But it's not the worst thing you could have done. You keep dropping the ulti at like just to fight every time it's up. I think if you're gonna use the ulti, you should use it like you clear the wave and then you jump him, and then like use the ulti like that. you're just like using the ulti when you're already right next to him, so it's gonna do almost no damage because it's based on distance traveled. I'm sorry I'm going really fast through yours, but like I've already gone through a lot of these parts of the game, and as a top lane, you aren't really roaming, and I think Kled is really strong at roaming because he can get places really quickly with his ulti. You keep using it for fights, and like not to get kills. You're just like to try to like skirmish. You come up here. Absolutely, it should have. If you're gonna come here, you need to communicate with your jungler, because your jungler is the one that went to stop the rumble. But now he's stuck. Like you didn't come there, so he decided to go farm it. And you're over here, so like you guys need to communicate so you're in the same place, because he doesn't have teleport, but you do. Alright, so we'll look at this team fight. This is the part where team fights finally start happening that you are in. So, hold up. Go to your vision. You guys had vision of her. Immediately, look at like the numbers. You guys are 3v4. Your ulti is still down. Leona just used her ulti, but Austin is still really far away. And Syndra's on the Syndra's already here, but like Rumble is teleporting right behind you. You guys have no sight on until like right here, which I don't think you even noticed. So just straight up, you guys went in too early because you've already lost your mount. Your effectiveness in the fight is now severely diminished. You get it back, which is good. And I think you played that fight fine, but just the decision to go in was made too early, because now you guys are fighting a 2v4, or it's 2v3. But like there's no way for you to win. It's a 2v3 that could have been a 4v4 and then a 4v5. But like you guys picked up kills because Kled's very strong. I don't know. You went in too early, I think, is the root of that fight. And then like you did the Kled thing, like running around, like getting your mount back again. And ideally it happens more than once. I think Merc Treads was a bad purchase. I already said this twice before for the fucking jungler, both Johns. Merc Treads this early on in a game, you buy, like I understand if you're getting for the no magic mantle, but that gives 25 magic resist, but then look at it, like the only increase is in movement speed. Look, these are normal boots, 25 to 45, so you get 20 movement speed, and you get 30% tenacity. But like, what CC do they have that you're mitigating? You're mitigating a slow from Iceborne Gauntlet, but like that barely, like your tenacity barely reduces that. It reduces the duration, but not the slow. Swifties would be what you want for slows. Braum, like he's got a stun, and then Syndra has a stun, but then anything other than that is just slows. So like I don't think the Merc Dreads are the right choice. If you'd gone for a Spectre's Cowl, then that would be health, and you could build towards like, or you could get a Hex Drinker. Just like there's so many better items I think you could have gotten. Because as you get, like, when you restart with Kled, you get it back. That's a bunch of free health that you can use. And like I think you should think of it as free health, because you just instantly get it back. It's like a giant fucking Soraka heal. And just like, it's more effective when you have more resistances. So I think you should focus on resistances if you're going to build tanky. Resistance is more than health. Okay. You run out here. I don't know what you're doing. Dropping a ward. You dropped a ward here because you were planning on going out to farm, but then like because of Syndra, you didn't really need to farm. At this point, if you still had your trinket, you should have placed it over here. But like I can understand why you would have placed it there. But as soon as you saw the Syndra, you should have stopped warding that spot. Right. You lost your mount for no reason. You just like, you were being cocky and you lost your mount. And I don't want to sound mean, but like, I'm just looking at this from my perspective. This is what this looks like. And maybe you like had a big purpose for that I didn't see. But just this is what I see. Alright, you're too low and you have no mount. You should needed to recall. Because now you're just gonna run around doing nothing. And I already talked to them about this. This was a bad play. But I'm just looking at you right now. If you want to hear about that, go watch theirs. And go to 22 minutes and 40 seconds. Still, you died, you didn't even get to half of your bar. And it's like, you died without ever having it. You should have recalled a long time ago. And you're still dead. Still dead. Still dead. All of this time, if you just recalled, you would have been alive. You placed the ward here this time. I think that's good. That's a good place to place a ward. But if you're gonna do that, you need to back up. And you backed up. And you should be looking. I already talked to John about these wards, so don't worry about that. But you walked over a pink ward. You weren't looking at your hero. Maybe you called it out to John. Maybe he just saw it and you didn't. And you're looking for a flank with your Cloud ulti, but you guys are gonna either way. Let's look at this. You guys are fighting into all of this darkness. So even if you ulti, it's just going to be blind, and you're just like running into the complete darkness. Okay, here's where miscommunication happens that I saw before. John and Mikey, they saw Syndra down here like 10 seconds ago or something like that. And they're going down here to clear the wave. But then you get here, and you're like, okay, I want to fight. But like, look at the positioning. Because Zix is over here farming, Austin is running the other way, and Bolton is running towards bottom. Like, you're the only one on the page, like the same page, and it was clear that you wanted to fight this whole time running down in this path. So like, you should have been voicing that to your team. Like, we're looking for a flank. Like, be ready to follow me. Like, John, stay on my back, because John's like whole job is to initiate with you. So like, that's just a huge miscommunication that whole time. Because now look, if John was right next to you, he'd have this move speed the whole time. Like, he had like a second there that he didn't even have it. You should have. If you're gonna end up going for Ezreal anyway, you should have just started on Ezreal. And Ezreal made a huge fucking mistake here. Okay, speed this up. And then you guys get blindsided by Syndra. There's literally nothing you could have seen unless John wards this bush because you guys knew that she was down here. But I would have also assumed that she went this way. So she really just like, she was a sneaky fuck. Alright, and John goes and secures that. You flash to try to stop her? But is there really a need to flash when you have the bear hook? I don't know if you need to flash when you have the bear hook. But I understand, like, maybe you were scared that Austin was gonna die, and he really got lucky. So I don't think your flash is necessarily bad, but I would consider it might have been a waste. Now here, you guys killed 2 people. Immediately take mid turret. I think you guys are prioritizing the dragon too much here. The mid tower is the most important objective in the entire game. Without the mid tower, like, think of it as like a game of chess, and the mid tower allows you to rotate top and bottom. Like, mid tower controls the map. So you just need to think about that. Plus, Nidalee's really good at defending against dragon because she can poke so much. And at the end of this dragon, you guys all die because of it. And she pokes you again, and then you get rumble ulted. Like, all of this, if you'd been here, would have been easier to deal with because you would have had sight. It still didn't have any vision, even though John has a ward and Austin has a ward. But like, Austin's in base, but it's just, if you had sight here and here, you would have not had run into this issue. And then you are fighting here, you're fighting. Alright, right here, you guys are stuck in the pit, but you both have dashes. So, unless I'm wrong and you can't jump out with Kled Q, you can't jump over walls, then like, you're just fighting for trying to desperately kill somebody. You should have positioned against the back wall and jumped over. But I'm not sure that if you can jump over a wall with Kled Q or not. If you can't, then I guess you were fucked, but if you could, then that's what you should have done. Fast forward until you're live again. Look at your items. Like Cleaver. Okay, you've barely got any items compared to Rumble. You are now... Holy shit. That's so bad. And it really just comes down to the early game farm. Because Kled's an insanely strong hero, and I think you're fighting the fights correctly with him. Like, you're not missing any combos or anything that are blatant in my eye. I don't think you're using the ulti properly, but alright, this is fine. But also though, I want to say, you guys are fighting into complete darkness. You ult, just seeing Ezreal, and you just happen to find Syndra. But like, I don't know, maybe you saw her. I don't remember. But you're fighting in complete darkness with no wards, and your trinket is up. You need to, as soon as you're fighting her, drop trinket over here, and like, Drawn needs to be dropping wards. Like, it's really bad habits to just run into blind fog. Because the reason you guys lose this fight is there's blindness over here, and there's blindness over here. Fighting here, you get Kled back, you need to run. I think you're really confident that you can go on this guy, but you don't respect how fed they are. Like, Rumble is 9-1. Ezreal's got slows. I think you should have maybe kited back until John got here, and then you guys could have gotten, like, destroyed them as a group, but you're too, like, you didn't respect their, how ahead they are. Like, he's got so much, he's 4,000 gold up on you. It's insane. Yeah, the entire gold deficit is between you and mid lane. That's the entirety of it. It's 4K for both of you. It's so big. You and Austin, so I mean. Okay, I'm gonna back up. Alright, so you guys are running up here to defend Baron, I assume. Even though, like I said this in the bot lane video, they have a very slow Baron team. At this point, they're very fed and they can tank it, but they're a slow-ass Baron team. Rumble is, like, Rumble's shitty at it. Nidalee's okay. Syndra's terrible. Braum is terrible, and Ezreal's terrible. They're all terrible at killing Baron. And so you guys are placing a lot of value, like, on the Baron, and it's really hard for them to take it. This was the proper time to use the ulti, I think. It gave you guys a lot of power in the team fight, and it closed the gap and let you do damage. Okay, you're just leading the charge here. That's fine. But again, I want to point out, you guys are fighting into all of this darkness. There's still no wards being placed. You still have wards. There's still wards on Austin. There's still wards on Leona. All of these wards not being placed, which let Rumble fight you guys for, like, without being pressured. You lose your mount. Okay, it's dangerous for you when you don't have the mount. Call it Scarl. So maybe it's not as bad as I think. But I think you're losing the mount a little too much. All right, finally, you guys are going for this tower. Which is like 5 minutes after I would have, like, instead of going for that dragon. And you take it that quickly, even without Mikey. When you had Mikey before, he has a ton of attack speed and attack damage. You would have been able to fight that or take it very easily. And you guys are correct, you and John are correct in only focusing the tower, because these guys are too healthy to dive. And, like, you want the tower, that's your entire objective. And then Bolden's tanking it because he thinks you want to fight, but that's just like that's miscommunication. They're just like that's just something that happened. Because John's he just tanked 3 or 4 tower shots for nothing. Bad. I think this is the point where you guys recall. Yeah, there's nothing to do. So what you could have done was either go up here, which would have been risky, or you just recall, which I think is correct. I think you ran a little round a little bit before you realized that, and just like, I think you could have made the decision more quickly. Alright, here, again, he's running into darkness. He sees the Nidalee, but like, he doesn't see anything else up here. He saw the Syndra, you guys would have seen the Syndra clearing this. Syndra is like right here. Boom. Nailed it, exactly. So let's watch this. Mikey is just, he already died here once earlier this game, like doing the same thing. And he has his blue trinket up, so like it's just very risky for no reason. Right, you're teleporting behind them. I already talked about this in every other one, but You teleport here, I guess, so that you hope they don't see you, and then you ult around. But this choice, like, you need to think of the ultimate as also, like, it's not just for you to get there, it's for your team to get there. Because it leaves a trail that grants allies increasing movement speed. It's in the first sentence. And so, if you ult here, or if you teleport here and then ult, your team can follow you. Or here and then ult, your team can follow you. But when you teleport here, just like watch what happens when you ult. Alright, it's got all of this extra move speed for your team, all over here, and your team is running down this lane with, they're so slow. It works out, but I think that would have been better. And I think you need to be cognizant of that. Because it wasn't really an issue of catching up to them, like, but you don't really have any CC either. Like, you hook him back for like a second there, and then you guys just all catch up. But you guys would have had an easier time catching up with the move speed, if that makes sense. And then I guess John like thought he was gonna flash or something. And then right here, this is miscommunication. I don't think this is on you guys. This is just like in general as a team, and also Bolden just like went in too far. But then here, you guys are still really split up. You guys either need to just know that like you're fucking abandoning Bolton, or you guys need to group back up and be able to zone them off. Because right here, they poke at John with the Ezreal, and just like, you need to let him die. You guys already, at this point, you guys are so far away, you've made the decision, but you take it back. You try to take it back, and you go in to help him, and you die for it. So, he's already gone. But you like go in to try to stop him, but then you guys are fighting it was a 1v3, now it's a 3v3, and then like Mikey's still too far away. Like, you don't have the kind of damage, or like you don't have the lead to do this. You almost lost your mount before the fight even started, and then you get killed easily, and now it's a 3v3. It's actually a 3v4. And then you guys, they stop to do this. I don't know. That's not you though. That's where I think that went wrong. And then I don't need to talk about this because it's not you, but essentially Mikey and Austin both fuck up. It wasn't worth it to do that. Alright, you're finally back alive. Alright, yeah, go clear creeps. That's fine. The enemy team, you saw them going to Dragon, so you guys try to go for Baron. This call is incorrect. Looking at the people that you have to do it, you have, if you're racing for Dragon and Baron, you have essentially 20 or 30 seconds. It will take your team at least 45. Just because you don't have the gear, you went for a GA, and like, so you just don't have the gear to do it that quickly, and Kha'Zix doesn't have the gear to do it quickly. He doesn't have Tiamat, and like, even though Kha'Zix does a lot of damage, he doesn't do as much as he did before. And Leona, she's just there to tank. And you guys, you don't clear any sight. Like, you use this, but there's a pink ward in this bush. Right there. Ward here. It's just, you guys made this decision out of desperation, but I think you would have been better off clearing the waves. Because you don't even hit it, essentially. Like, you guys made that call, like, I think out of desperation. You were excited, like, oh, they're doing Dragon, we have to do something. But it just wasn't possible, and in the end, you missed farm. Which you're still desperately behind on. Okay, let's go back to start of this. Alright. I already talked about these wards in jungle, or with Bolton, but these wards are not very effective because they kind of do the same thing. And if they clear this ward, which he's about to do, it's just like he'll walk over to his teammates and they'll instantly clear this ward. So it's just like a guaranteed loss of those wards. Alright, you try to ignore the Braum, but like I wonder if maybe you should have just kept started hitting him. Your team right here is split. Like, you two came from this side, you two came from this side, and Austin's gonna come from this side. Like, you guys should have been on the same side. Alright, right here is a good time to ult, but you've already lost your mount. So, you flash in, but you still flash while like standing inside the rumble team, which is gonna cause you to die. Alright, so you die from that. Alright, you res. At this point, if you're gonna res in the middle of them, you should have tried to like run this way and like split their team, or like run this way and ult. Like there wasn't really if you were fed, maybe you could do that kind of play and like kill them, but you're just too behind. Yeah, I already mentioned that in the bot lane one. And this is the end of the game. So I think the main things you need to focus on are being cognizant of where the site is before you ult. I'm not sure. Well, I think trying to roam in like when you get level 6 or like pretty soon after that, roaming to mid lane with your ulti is a good thing. You can take this path, like either go all the way around or you go through here and try to ult him. Ult the Syndra would be very valuable because Victor can put out a lot of damage, but as it was, Syndra was just chunking him before he could get it out. I think your build is okay. I talked about the Merc Dreads and the refillable pot. If you're gonna buy a refillable pot, you should try to make that decision earlier, because when you're first buy with the longsword, that like you just could have bought it then. Oh shit! I didn't know I could do this. Oh fuck, that's cool. And I'm gonna do all of our team fights like this from now on. This is fucking dope. Alright, so I think that's it. And this isn't like, I'm not trying to personally attack Jack for like how he played, but like if I don't point it out, then maybe you don't even think about it. So anybody that's playing top lane, I think, or any lane could benefit from this. So it's not like really specifically targeting like Jack or anything. Alright, I hope this is useful. I'm done now, and it's 2 o'clock. I think I have time to do the mid lane one before I have to go club.